Earlier this week, we were in our Q1 planning meeting, and I challenged the team to come up with a timeline of their money memories. I had a lot of methods to my madness here in asking for this request, but the first is we don't realize how much our childhood and our experiences and our parents play into the money decisions that we make as an adult. Our money type, how we feel about money, how we act around money. If you've ever had that out of body experience where you're like, oh my God, I am my mother. And you were like all of the sudden in shock that you're doing the same dumb shit that they did, or maybe really smart things. I don't know. It depends on your childhood. Mine would be the earlier. However, really important to have some self-awareness around why you do the things that you do. And then second to that is I thought it would be really powerful to be relatable and be able to come from a place of understanding too in client meetings for our financial planning company. And when we're having these very vulnerable, emotional conversations, like it is so important to be able to also say like, hey, I get you. I've been there. I'm not perfect. And here's what I did. You know, it's really great to always have those experience shares. And then of course, it's good to talk about it. Talk about it to everybody else because you're not alone. We're not alone. And we, throughout life, I feel like we have these money inflection points. And sometimes we really don't know why we do the things that we do, or we get wildly uncomfortable around specific topics around money or even big decisions. And we can't think of a logical idea why. It's just so emotional. You know, I've had so many clients in my office come in, we're cheery, we're shooting the shit, catching up. And then all of a sudden I ask them about their goals, their aspirations, or what it is that they came to the office for. And they start talking and mid-sentence, all of the sudden, tears, right? And they didn't even know they were coming. And it's because of these deep, deep, deep rooted emotions. So, Sarah, you know, I would love for you to just talk about your money story, your memories, and some core points for you, because I've known you now for 15 years and I have seen you grow and expand in these incredible ways. And so I would love for you to talk about some of those points because I know that you are not the only one.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool exercise to go through. It was a lot of different questions that kind of make you think about where you came from. And it is emotional. I think it was like bringing tears to my eyes when I was thinking about it myself. So most of the way I use money kind of, I realize, is driven from super hyper vigilant independence, which is no surprise to anybody who actually knows me, but
eldest daughters
eldest daughter syndrome. But I had a lot of very random traumas in my life too. So like from a very, very young age, one of my first memories, my dad was really sick when I was little. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She was still pregnant with my brother when this was happening. And we didn't have any money. My dad was on Social Security disability. And so from a very, very early stage, like we didn't have anything. And, I've talked to a lot of other people and it's like, I didn't play video games. We couldn't afford them. I didn't have none of that was a problem. I just ran around outside. And so I think some of that has carried with me. Some things in my life, don't get me wrong, I'm bougie about, but there are so many other things in my life I'm very, very simple with. Even I cook a lot, not because I think it stemmed from we just always cooked. I never really ate out at restaurants. One, I lived in the middle of nowhere, kind of in a rural area, but I didn't grow up eating McDonald's. I didn't go to Disney when I was a kid. None of those things were part of my childhood. I had a very good childhood, but it wasn't driven with stuff. And so I carry that with me today. And then inadvertently, I have been really good with money my whole life. I would say my biggest money mistake is actually being too conservative because I operate out of fear. Yeah. And so, my parents got divorced eventually and my mom was working full time and very, very quickly, I was taking care of my brother after school. I got a job the first second I think I was legally allowed to work. Actually, I worked at my friend's family farm before that because you could be younger. And so I have been working since I was probably 10, babysitting and stuff. And then I worked at the yacht club when I was really, really young, and I saved so much and like was always so afraid to spend it. And so when I went into college, I already had good habits. Like I didn't open a credit card with a creepy guy in the student union. And so I've always made really good money decisions. I've always been a good saver, but probably a little bit to my detriment. I probably could have been more aggressive. I could have saved in investments a little more. I didn't start saving into a 401k at my first job because I didn't know what it was and I didn't want to ask for like a year. And then even till today, like I still feel like I don't have a safety net. I don't have anybody to catch me if I fall. Like my parents are not in a position where they can do that. I don't have a husband. And so I am thankful for it too, though, because, you know, I have a life where I only have to worry about me. I take care of me, and I know that I have the insurance, the accounts, all the things that I need. It doesn't matter. I've got my own back. So, yeah. But you know, it's an interesting upbringing of a money story that until we did that exercise, I hadn't really ever thought about it and thought about, you know, how all of that evolved in my life.
Yeah.
And so while I'm thankful I didn't make any huge money mistakes or get into any major pitfalls, there's the opposite effect sometimes too.
Yeah, totally. And I appreciate you sharing that because it really is so meaningful to kind of go back and look at that and then say, okay, cool. Like, so that happened. Now what, right? Now, how can I take that and move forward in a much more vigilant way and doing some of the things that I know will serve me better? And of course, now being a financial advisor and seeing how the numbers work and the difference, there is a real thing about being too conservative, having too much cash, having too much in your savings account. And we see that a lot with women, actually. There's a huge number behind that, too, where women just are more conservative because also we feel like we have a bigger burden to bear, more people to take care of. And what if we mess it all up?
And even now, now that I'm not only responsible for myself, I'm responsible for my mother and her finances. And you said in the beginning, you know, maybe not do the things your parents do. My mom never protected herself. She was married a couple of times, and she at no point ever got the proper documents in place. It was just conversations over the dinner table, the assumption that we'll stay together, we'll be good. And man, did she get screwed over, for lack of a better term. Yeah. She screwed herself over, though. Yeah. Like, you just make these assumptions, oh, we're married, and it's going to go the way I think it is.
Yeah.
And so if probably made it worse for me, now I'm like, don't touch my money. But like, I would never want to like disrupt this thing that I've built. But if I do, I will make sure, like, prenuptial, post-nuptials, ironclad, because you can't make those assumptions. You can't assume it's always going to work out. And it happened to her at a time where she, you know, she's just without the resources and the mental capacity to even do anything about it at this point. So I think, you know, that's been the soapbox that I've been on for a little while with women is, you know, make sure that like, love and marriage and all of that's really good, but put the proper documents in place, even for business, right? Like,
totally. Yeah. I mean, that's a partnership too. And,
exactly.
You know, I always say when you're getting into any partnership, be it a marriage or a business partnership, you go into that as if you're going to have the ugliest divorce ever and hope it never happens. But you want to write those documents to the specificity and to the things that you would want to have happen just in case it does. And going through those questions too actually is a really good relationship builder because you learn a lot about each other. It may open up conversations too about how you think about money, what your goals are in a business partnership. Like, how do you quantify work? Like, what is equal is not fair all of the time. And so those types of conversations can also be really healthy. And then again, just saying that, hey, I have this, I can sleep at night. God willing, we never have to use them, right? It's always a really good thing to do upfront, and always protecting yourself, because when you are blinded by love, everything is good. Nothing bad is ever going to happen. But life experience has taught us for sure otherwise. Many, many times. And so we will not let you be blindsided. But thank you for sharing that. And we will put the exercise in the notes so that if you guys want to do the money journey yourself and go back and look at your money memories and then reflect on how they're impacting you today and then what to do about it, strongly encourage you to. And then if you have questions or anything specific, that's what we're here for. Reach out. We are here to support.